FM.
This is SportsCenter.
Week 13 in college football. I'm Chris Smith. Cincinnati's 11-game win streak is tied for the second longest active streak in the FBS, and they're putting it on the line against East Carolina. Right now, the fourth-ranked Bearcats lead 14-3 late second quarter. You can watch on ABC and the ESPN app. Even if Cincy remains undefeated, our Heather Dinich says they are still at risk of dropping out of the top four.
The worst-case scenario is to be number 4, finish undefeated, and get the gut punch of dropping out because Oklahoma State wins the Big 12 and finishes a one-loss Big 12 champion. I mean, I really can't think of anything worse and also more realistic.
Heard on ESPN Radio's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. 7th-ranked Oklahoma State takes on number 10 Oklahoma in the Bedlam Series Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. NFL news, Tennessee wide receiver A.J. Brown is out for Sunday's game against the Patriots. Brown suffered multiple injuries in last week's loss to the Texans. And bad news for the Bills as cornerback Tre'Davious White suffered a torn ACL on Thursday and is out for the rest of the season.
Getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit is another reason banking with Capital One is one of the easiest decisions in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A., member FDIC.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Good afternoon. It is afternoon. Gary Dickman here. This is the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu. Of course, Derrick Lowe with me as well. We'll do this every Hawaii basketball game, home and away, all season long. It's the day after Thanksgiving. We were on with you yesterday, and Hawaii did win in the Las Vegas Classic. Game where they led from start to finish over Illinois, Chicago. The final score 88-80. And Derrick Lowe, happy Black Friday, I guess. Thanks for being with us again. That was an impressive win yesterday. Again, very rarely do you get to lead from start to finish. Hopefully that will be the case today, as they will have South Alabama coming up at 1 in the championship game. But I thought Hawaii did a good job, Derrick, especially considering they were without a starter in Bernardo da Silva. And as we also heard, Noel Coleman played only 5 minutes with that hip injury, so even more impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we had just found out that da Silva wasn't going to play during our yesterday's show. And then to find out, when they were playing that, they were limiting Noel Coleman was even more of a blow to the team. But like you said, they were still able to figure things out collectively with a different rotation. They started, McClanahan, who is not unfamiliar to starting. He was the previous starter. And, the good thing was that they all contributed a lot. Every single one of the starting 5 got into double figures, and, they executed well. So it was good.
The balance I love on this team, and I think we're going to see a lot of that all season long. You mentioned 5 starters and double figures. I have a feeling that will be the norm more than the exception. And Mate Chelina, who, when we found out about Bernardo, we anticipated he would start, and he did. I would say that's probably his best game as a Rainbow Warrior. I mean, what numbers? 23 points, 7 rebounds. He had a steal as well, and 9 of 12 shooting. We talked before the game about the size advantage for Hawaii, and they obviously use that to their advantage.
Yeah, and we also were kind of questioning, right, UIC's their height disadvantage, right?
Yes.
They were a lot smaller. Their big guy was only 6'8", so we're kind of trying to figure out, how is Mate going to fit into that, But good thing is he used the height advantage, to their side, to his advantage, and meaning like. He did well. He had 7 rebounds, 23 points. It could have went the other way, which we didn't want. We didn't want him to be a liability on the court, but just glad that they were able to use the height difference and really take it to them.
I love watching a player who comes in, maybe a freshman, a JC transfer, and watch the improvement every year. I mean, Samuta Vea came in as a true freshman. He's improved every year. Mate Chelina, at the beginning of his career, didn't really play that much. Last year was more of a key factor. Started a few games, didn't start, but really was effective off the bench. We saw a guy like Zigmar's Rimo in years past. Looked like he might have been wanting to quit maybe because he was hardly playing, and turned into a terrific player. And I just love seeing that with Mate Chelina. Seems like he has a great attitude. He's always positive, and yesterday his hard work paid off. We should also say congratulations to Coach Eran Ganot. Victory number 100 as a head coach. Hopefully in about 3 hours, we'll say happy 101, but that's a great accomplishment for Eran Ganot on Thanksgiving to get your 100th victory in convincing fashion as well.
Yeah, exactly. And as a player, like you were saying about, the progress, it's our goal every single year, to try and work on our game and just improve just little by little. By the time we graduate, hopefully, we could have made giant leaps than when we first got there. So good on Mate.
If you guys are listening right now on ESPN Honolulu, we also are on our Facebook page, ESPN Honolulu Facebook page. Then you get to watch Derrick and myself, and we'll also have a special guest that you can check out. He'll be joining us in about 10 minutes, Sai Tummala, who was on the championship team of 2015-16 that won the Big West tournament and won a game in the NCAA tournament, and he will join us coming up a little bit later. So stay tuned for that again on Facebook, our Facebook page, also on YouTube, if you want to check it out on YouTube as well, ESPN Honolulu. We'll get the latest from Josh Pacheco coming up at about 12:50 about Bernardo da Silva, Noel Coleman, maybe an update. If we hear anything while we're on, we'll let you know. But I think those are key factors. And we'll get more into South Alabama in a few minutes. But also with Hawaii yesterday, Derrick, I thought it was impressive of Kamaka Hepa. We talked about him yesterday on the Rivals Waikiki pregame show. He has struggled a little bit offensively, doing a lot of other things well. But each game, it seemed like his shot was coming to him. And yesterday, even more so. He had 19 points and 6 rebounds. 2 of 2 on 3-pointers. They were both early in the first half. I thought it was kind of almost a breakout game for Kamaka Hepa, at least offensively.
Yeah, and that was something that we knew he could do, right? I mean, he showed the exact same game against Northern Colorado, right?
Yes.
I believe that was the game he did well in. And again, 2 for 2 from 3, showing the ability to step out and hit outside shots, but also maintain his length and athleticism inside. So, it's nothing that, we don't think that he can do. It's just about, I think, getting into the rhythm, right? I think I said that last time, just if he can find his rhythm early in the game, feel good in the flow of the offense, get some baskets here and there, I think, we can start to expect a little bit more consistency from him.
When you were at Washington State, I'm just curious, if you had transfers coming in, what was the biggest challenge for them? Because I'm looking at a guy like Kamaka, and we talked yesterday about the hype and maybe unrealistic expectations from fans. And that's natural anywhere when you get a guy like that from Texas. But what are the challenges when you welcome a player into your program where you guys are already in a routine and in sync, and the new player has to adjust?
Yeah, the biggest difference is the adjustment to the new system and new style of play. Every coach has their own philosophies, offense and defensively. More so coming into our system, right? Players really had to know what they were getting into. They had to know they were getting into the 3 out, 2 in, blocker mover style offense. And then you had to know really well what you're getting into defensively with our pack line. So, it was a culture shock, sometimes when transfers would come in because, it was emphasized so much. But when you have a player that's selfless and that really buys into what that coach is doing, then the adjustment period can be a lot smoother, right? So
interesting as we're talking about Kamaka Hepa in that area. Yesterday we had Noah Allen on, who is a grad transfer from UCLA. He had to go through that. Today, Sai Tummala, who is a grad transfer from Arizona State. So they had to go through that. And we'll get Sai's thoughts on that coming up a little bit later as well. Again, for Hawaii yesterday, a lot of things really stand out with that win. 52% shooting. If you shoot anything over 45% as a team, you probably have a good chance of winning for the most part. You're shooting over 50%, even more so. The other thing that stands out to me are the 7 turnovers. You and I talked before the show today about that. Hawaii had 3 at the half. You have a number in single digits. Not only is the coach happy, but again, you're improving your chances in winning as well.
Oh, exactly. I mean, back when I was playing any game, I mean, we did take care of the ball, granted. And obviously some games we'd have double digits turnovers, but we'd hear it so bad. So whenever we did have a game where it was in the single digits, it was almost celebrated more than the win, oh man. So, to see them have 7 turnovers, especially when, in past games, they were up in 16, 17 range, it's definitely encouraging, right? Because we were wondering, who is their primary primary ball handler who can handle the ball under pressure. And, against teams like they're going to face today, South Alabama, it's going to be really important that they value each and every possession and take care of the ball and not and again, try to have single-digit turnovers.
We're going to have Sai Tummala, as I mentioned, coming up in about 5 minutes. Then we'll get more in detail about the South Alabama team. One thing I'll tell you guys right now, their starting five is almost the exact same height as Illinois Chicago's was yesterday. Their big guy is 6'8". They're guard-oriented. Their two guards are their leading scorers, kind of like yesterday's game. So we'll get more into that in a few minutes. Another number that stands out from yesterday, Derrick, is the rebounding numbers. And we kind of anticipated that with the size advantage. 34-23 on the board. And Hawaii in second chance points outscored Illinois Chicago 24-11. Another big factor in yesterday's victory.
Yeah, and Hawaii, we knew Hawaii had the height advantage last game. They're going to have a little height advantage this game. So it's going to continue to be important that they really make that presence known and just attack the boards. The guards for today's game is South, Alabama. They like to crash the boards. So, we're really going to need to have a collective effort of everyone continue to win that rebounding game.
If you have the numbers similar to yesterday in every area I just mentioned, even in a few of them, I think you do have a good chance of winning against the South Alabama team that comes in at 4-2. Might be a little deceiving based on their opponents, but we'll get into that coming up a little bit later. We will take a break here on the Rivals Waikiki pregame show, and then we're going to have Sai Tummala joining us in just a few minutes. You are listening to the Rivals pregame show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
What's your game plan for hurricane season? The team at First Insurance wants to help you come out on top with an exclusive policy you won't find anywhere else. First Track is an affordable policy for homeowners and renters that pays you quickly whenever a hurricane gets near you. The closer and bigger the storm, the higher the payout. It covers expenses like emergency supplies and groceries while offsetting the high deductibles of hurricane insurance. First Track, only from First Insurance. Visit ficoh.com/firsttrack to learn more.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come in a stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Who says you need a turkey, tree, or stuffed stockings to celebrate the season? Reinvent your holidays into something all your own with a special fixed-rate holiday loan from Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union with rates as low as 1.99% APR for 12 months. Offer available for a limited time only. Visit hawaiiusafcu.com/holiday to learn more and apply. Loan details also available by calling 1-800-379-1300. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life matters. Insured by NCUA and Equal Housing Lender.
At Dial Electric Supply, we're all about seeing the light. That means understanding that we need to pull together to put the COVID-19 pandemic behind us. Do your part in social distancing, wearing masks, and hand washing. Our sales counter and will call remains open, and our Dial Lighting Gallery showroom is now open by appointment only. Go online to www.dialelectricsupply.com, open on weekdays from 7 to 3 and Saturdays from 9 to 3, serving electricians, developers, utility companies, and businesses. See the light at Dial Electric Supply.
Introducing the best deal in mobile. Unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month per line. With no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60%. Get unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999. Click SpectrumMobile.com or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded.
Here's a team physician tip from Dr. J. Marumoto.
All rotator cuff tears are not the same. With the most accurate diagnosis and treatment from Orthopedic Associates, many rotator cuff tears can avoid surgery.
Dr. J. Marumoto is the University of Hawaii's most senior team surgeon. For the most advanced sports injury care, contact Orthopedic Associates at 536-2261 or go to oahawaii.com. Orthopedic Associates, Hawaii's team physicians.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Back we are, the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu, also our Facebook and YouTube pages, Gary Dickman and my co-host Derrick Lowe. And this is the time we get to talk to a former player or coach from the University of Hawaii. Fond memories of our guest joining us today. He came from Arizona State and played on the team that won the Big West tournament in 2015 and 16. Sai Tummala joins the show. Sai, thank you for joining us, or should I call you Dr. Sai Tummala?
No, Sai's fine. Thanks for having me, Gary. Thanks for everything.
And we don't hear him, and maybe Tanner can turn that up. Sai, are you there?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you. Okay, so I was saying, is it Dr. Sai Tummala yet?
It is, but you can just call me Sai. I like that better.
I like Doc. Doc is pretty cool. So when did you get your degree, and what exact field are you in?
I graduated from med school in 2020, and then now I'm doing my residency in orthopedic surgery over at Mayo Clinic in Arizona.
Okay, that is fantastic. Congratulations on that. Now, I saw on your social media pages at least a few days ago you were here in Hawaii. Are you still here?
I am, yeah. I'm still here, just, visiting old friends and old teammates, and it's been awesome to be back.
Okay, I've got Derrick Lowe with me, a former Washington State star. He'd like to ask a question or two before I got some more for you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sai, how's it going, Sai?
Good. How you doing, Derrick?
Good. I'm going to ask you the obvious question here. What's more difficult, performing surgery or actually physically traveling to Pullman, Washington to play Washington State Cougars?
I'd say Pullman's actually harder. There's nothing there, man.
I know that travel is brutal to get to just get to Pullman, right?
It is.
That's awesome.
I've been there as well, so I kind of know what you guys mean about that. So as we're talking about you from Arizona State, we had Noah Allen on yesterday. We were talking about transfers like Kamaka Hepa on this year's team. What was it like for you? What was the mindset in coming to the University of Hawaii for your final season?
I think when you're, a transfer, especially a grad transfer, your role really coming into the team is just to step in and kind of fill whatever role they need, wherever they need help. I think you put your ego to the side and just kind of step into whatever the team needs, I think it's a great opportunity coming to a place like, UH and I think you just got to come in, put your ego to the side and help wherever you can.
Were there tough challenges just fitting in with your teammates chemistry-wise at all?
I didn't have that experience at all. I felt, the guys were really welcoming to me coming in. I was really took me in, made me feel at home right away. Included me in all this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. I think just kind of playing it as it came, and everyone was really welcoming.
Former Rainbow Warrior, now a doctor, Dr. Sai Tummala, joining us here in the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu. So you come in as the sixth man. It looks like you embraced that role. You kind of talked about you didn't have any problems with the challenges there. You were second on the team in three-pointers. What was the adjustment like coming off the bench? What were you looking for before you came into the game that season?
I think, my role on that team specifically was, me and Mike, I think, kind of split all the minutes at the four position that year. And we kind of had different playing styles. I think, Mike, who's now an assistant coach, he was a little bit more of an inside player. I was a little more of a perimeter player. I think we complemented each other well. And really, I think the way that we were utilized that season was really just based upon the team that we were playing and the matchups that we had. I mean, there was games where I would play more, games where he would play more. And really, I think it worked really well. So, that was a role that I embraced and really enjoyed on that team.
We talk about how you played coming off the bench and other areas. We'll get to the Big West tournament run and things like that. But one thing I don't think I've ever asked you or maybe even anybody else about, the bench, Hawaii 5-0. They got a lot of national recognition for some of the antics on the bench. Tell us about how that came about and maybe some of the fun stories about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was well-deserved. They actually would have their own practices after our practices to practice their routines and get everything ready to go. I think that was just kind of exemplary of how we were as a team. The guys were on the bench. They weren't playing a lot, but they wanted to be involved. And, nothing gets you more excited in the game than looking over and seeing your guys getting after it for you. So that was just, I think a special part of our team, the Hawaii 5-0. And like I said, they did not mess around when it came to their routines. They were ready to go. They were practicing before.
And I'm going to have you explain exactly how you define Hawaii Five-0 for some of our listeners who aren't aware of that. But I remember Eran Ganat later on that year when you talked about practices after practice, he came into the locker room one time and had the chalkboard ready to diagram some plays, and it was all Hawaii Five-0 plays that were diagrammed on there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So how do you define what Hawaii Five-0 was and their role basically for the team that season?
Yeah, so I mean, the Hawaii Five-0 was essentially anybody that was on the bench at the time, but really majority, I would say, probably between the seventh guy down, that that didn't get a lot of playing time, but just wanted to kind of embrace the spirit of the team and kind of support us however they could. It basically, they just were kind of our hype guys. I think that's the best way to put it. But they were all basically, I would say 7 through 12 on our team that were the main organizers, and also Jack, who was a redshirt at that time.
Okay, Jack Purchase, of course. So great visuals from that season, that's for sure. So when we talk about the Big West tournament, which you guys won to go to the NCAA, what was it like during that run? You guys finished in a tie for first place, I believe, with Irvine, but won the tiebreaker for the regular season title. Did you have a lot of confidence? Was there any doubt in your mind that you guys would win the 3 games in Anaheim?
We were a confident bunch, and we were also kind of an older bunch, too. A lot of juniors and seniors on that team. And one of the things that I noticed right away when I stepped on campus was just how confident the guys were in winning, and all the things that they'd been through before I got there, I think really helped set the tone of the season, set the tone of our character of our team. I mean, we were never going to back down to anybody. I think even earlier on in the season, remember the game at Oklahoma? We played Oklahoma. We played at Texas Tech. All those were really good teams that we played very close. We're really confident in our ability. I don't think there was ever a time we stepped on the court where I didn't feel that we could win. And I think that was led by our guards. I mean, Rod Bobbitt, Quincy Smith, all those guys were, they were tough as nails. And they set the tone every day in practice and then every day on the court. Stepping in, you were confident knowing those guys were at the helm.
What was it like in the championship game on that Saturday night? I believe it was Long Beach State. You beat, I think it was by 4 points, give or take a point, but it was fairly close down the stretch. I know a lot of fans that got to rush the court for the first time in their lives, and it was something they'll never forget. What was it like at the end of the Big West tournament?
It was awesome. I mean, you have to remember that season, too. We lost to Long Beach twice. That was the third time we played them that year, and getting them in the championship game, we really wanted them. And I think when we had them that third time, we really felt that we were going to win, and winning it was just unbelievable. I still remember someone ran out on the court with the Hawaii flag, and I still have that picture, and it was crazy that just from the year before when they'd lost in that championship game, and then coming back and be able to win it and go to the tournament. I mean, it was really special. Everyone, I think it had been built up for about a year. Everyone ready to go.
Former Rainbow Warrior Sai Tummala joining us here on the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu. And then you go to the NCAA tournament. For the University of Hawaii, I'm sure most fans know the history. They have gone to the tournament several times previously, had never won a game. You play Cal, and it seemed like a lot of analysts around the country were picking that as an upset favorite for Hawaii beating Cal, just because of the players you mentioned, veteran team, as you said as well. What was it like in that moment up in Spokane to beat Cal in the first round?
That was really a really special moment. One of those once in a lifetime kind of things. I just remember coming out on the court in Spokane, and I remember because it was so difficult to get flights to Spokane because it's a small airport. People were driving. We had Hawaii fans, going to like Seattle and all over and driving in. I remember coming in and just seeing like there's a whole section of just tea leaves right across from our bench. And that to me was a really special moment. And then being able to win that game, like I said, we were a confident bunch. I think people understood that even going to that game, why we were picked as a potential upset. I don't think we were seeded as high as we should have been. I thought we should have got a higher seed. But we were ready to play Cal, and, I think it showed that day. We kind of led, kind of the entire game. So, like I said, confident bunch, good team, veteran team. We're ready to go.
Great moment that will never be forgotten in Hawaii basketball history. I want to get your thoughts on this as well, Sai, because some people will talk about Eran Ganat in that first year, that he did it with other coaches' players. To me, I think he deserves even more credit that you're doing it with players that you didn't necessarily recruit. Now, he recruited you, but what are your thoughts on the job that Eran Ganat did, again, with a mixture of players that he recruited and that were left over from the previous regime?
I think it's a tough position to walk into. You got guys that are already on the team that were recruited by other coaches. And also, you have to remember that those guys had a couple of different coaches over the course of those few years prior, with some of the NCAA stuff going on and changes. So, it's a tough position to walk into and a delicate balance to walk into. He did a good job of kind of allowing, the guys on our team to have some freedom, but also put structure around what we were doing, particularly, with our offensive sets and our defensive sets. He just put some structure around what we could do and let the guys play to their strengths. Guys like Bobbitt, who are really good off the dribble drive, off the penetration and pick and roll, getting him those freedom and those opportunities while also providing adequate spacing, things like that. Overall, I thought he did a good job balancing that. That's a tough position to walk into because you have to earn the respect of your players.
Are you still playing basketball? Because again, I follow you on Instagram, and I think you were playing pickup games this week. Is that something you still participate in?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that I don't know how many more years I got playing, but I love playing, and I still play every week. Go play open pickup. Actually, I was just here in town, and we had a good run, and it's just fun seeing everyone and getting out there.
Well, it's fun catching up with you. Congratulations on your degree. And I know you're going to do a great job in the medical field as well. And a great career at University of Hawaii. It was 1 year, but what a memorable year it was. Sai, thanks again for joining us. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Derrick. Appreciate talking to you guys.
Thanks, Sai.
All right. Sai Tummala joining us here. Again, Dr. Sai Tummala, but he wants to go by Sai. What a career. Just imagine. You were a student athlete. I wasn't. But just playing sports, I know, is really difficult. Being a student is obviously difficult. To do them both and be a doctor is quite an achievement, isn't it?
Oh man, I barely could juggle those two, school and basketball. But for him to do medicine and basketball, that's something else. That's awesome.
And how often would you ever get three people together, you, me, and Sai, who have all been to Pullman, Washington? That's probably a very short list of people that have done it. So.
I know.
And it was tough to get to. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, Derrick and I are going to talk more about Hawaii's opponent today in the championship game of the Las Vegas Classic. It is South Alabama. We'll give you more details and talk about some of their players as well with the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Kama'aina stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Got the pothole blues, it's the same old news. Every time I hit the streets, my car takes a beat. My alignment is off and my tires are shot. I need to find a way to lose these pothole blues.
It's okay to sing along, but you don't need to have the pothole blues. Lex Brody's Tire, Brake, and Service Company knows how to cheer you up. First, smiling and welcoming faces. Then, the best value on the island for your wheel alignments, tires, and brakes. Whether it's called our Lex Advantage or our Lex Appeal, we are your best value and choice for Michelin and Toyo tires and brake repairs. Wear your University of Hawaii logoed hat or shirt when you visit an Oahu Lex Brody's location and get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go to lexbrodys.com for more details and for our other Super Saver coupons. Thank you very much.
Two is better than one, especially when it comes to cashback rewards. That's why at Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union, we're doubling what you can earn on all your travel, entertainment, and restaurant purchases through November 30th when you use your Life Matters Cashback Visa credit card. And don't forget, you'll always earn 1% cashback on all your other purchases too. To learn more or apply, visit hawaiiusafcu.com/double cashback. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life Matters. Insured by NCUA, an equal housing lender.
Looking for a quick escape? Treat yourself to a staycation with Castle Resorts and Hotels. Our Kama'aina Stay and Play promotion offers Hawaii residents 25% off the best available rates, plus other perks like free late checkout, free room upgrades, and more based on availability. Our condominium resorts, like the Kama'ole Sands on Maui, offer 1- and 2-bedroom suites with full kitchens and spacious accommodations. Check out the volcano activity and rest at the Hilo Hawaiian Hotel. Disconnect and relax at the ISO on Kauai. or re-energize at our Bamboo Waikiki Hotel. Explore all the options for yourself online at castleresorts.com. Our flexible cancellation policies and Castle Care's enhanced cleaning protocols provide an extra layer of security and safety. Castle's Kama'aina Stay and Play promotion is available for stays through December 9th. Learn more at castleresorts.com. It's time to vacation again with Castle Resorts and Hotels.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Back we are, Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe here in the Rivals Waikiki Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Tip-off coming up in a little over 30 minutes at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Josh Pacheco will be joining us in about 20 minutes, maybe a little less than 20 minutes, and we'll get an update. We're trying to find out the status of Bernardo da Silva and Noel Coleman. We mentioned earlier, Bernardo didn't play. He had the hand injury, and Noel Coleman played 5 minutes and 12 seconds in the first half. Obviously, the hip was bothering him, didn't do anything much, and did have one shot attempt. We're hearing Bernardo doesn't look good, but no official word. So when we turn it over to Josh in a little bit, we'll hear hopefully something official, as he'll have the starting lineups by then. And yesterday it worked out well. And Derrick, as we talk about South Alabama, we mentioned a few minutes ago also, their size for their starters is very similar to UIC yesterday. Their big guy is 6'8", and their guards are their leading scorers. And it's interesting because their two starting guards, J.J. Chandler and Charles Manning Jr., are D1 transfers, both from the SEC. Manning Jr. is from LSU. He's averaging 16.2, and J.J. Chandler from Texas A&M, he's averaging 15.3. That concerns me a little, and maybe it shouldn't, but partly because they were playing in the SEC. None of these guys played a lot, but they were significant players at least, and they're doing a very good job this year. Both of them 6'4" for Southern Alabama.
Yeah, when I had the chance to watch South Alabama play, I watched their game against Alabama and I think another game. But the one thing that stood out to me was, that their raw athleticism. I didn't think that they were necessarily like skilled at point guard, skilled at shooting guard, skilled at big, but they were all just so athletic. Like you said, all 6'4", around that size range. And, they're just quick and they're just super aggressive. So to me, that kind of team can kind of be scary sometimes, especially if you let them get into the groove and control tempo. But like I said, they like to get up and down the court really quick. They like to put, use their athleticism and apply perimeter pressure. And then, like you were mentioning, Manning Jr. and Chandler, they both had 21 points last game
Yesterday, yes.
And, they've proven to be their kind of go-to scorers. And I think, all of them can shoot. All of them can get into the lane, raise up and hit the floater and whatnot. But, I think it's going to be interesting today for sure.
It's also, when we talk about their front court and the side, they start 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", and we talked about the two guards, both at 6'4". Again, very similar to yesterday's team in Illinois, Chicago. Hopefully Hawaii can have that rebounding advantage, and the numbers, as we talked yesterday, out rebounding their opponent by 11. But you look at Southern Alabama, they're 4-2. They beat San Diego by 1, 68-67. They only lost to Alabama, who was number 10 at the time, by 5, and that was last week, 73-68. That might be the most impressive game to me, because their other 3 wins are against schools you've never heard of. And even myself, you hear about these schools in November almost every year, D2 schools, sometimes D3. Spring Hill, they beat by 61 points, 102-41. And that's significant for some of the numbers I'm going to mention in a second. They lost to Wichita State and Alabama. Then they beat Mobile, Alabama, by 23. And they beat William Carey by 43. So those are a little deceiving. When I look at their numbers, they've outscored their opponents by 21.5 points. That looks pretty good. Again, they had a 61-point victory against either a D2 or a D3 school. So I think those numbers, you have to really kind of, read between the lines a little bit. They only average 11.5 turnovers. They shoot really well, average 8 steals, 4 blocks. But I don't think you can really lean on those numbers too much because of their opposition.
Yeah, I think the impressive thing is, and you probably read it, they got 11 new players. So again, just like UIC, right? Fairly brand new team. A lot of transfers through the portal, quality transfers. And I think the one impressive thing that South Alabama did against Alabama was force Alabama, who has pretty good guards, into 22 turnovers.
Wow.
And that will be effective today because with our guard play, can we handle and take care of the ball? Can we control the tempo and not get into that frantic pace with them? If we can control the tempo, keep our turnovers under 10, I think we have a good chance of neutralizing them.
Couple of fun facts, well, maybe one fun fact. You'll be the judge of that, I guess, everybody. Their coach, Richie Riley, he was an assistant at HPU in 2005 and 2006. I don't remember him, but I just saw that on their notes. Kind of interesting right there. And, you mentioned the transfers. I think we talk about that so often over our show and even on the Sports Animals show, where you don't have to sit out a year right now. You can transfer once if you're in good academic standing and not have to redshirt. And we're seeing such increasing numbers with the transfer portal being available. And I mentioned the two guards, A&M, Texas A&M, and LSU. They were playing on those teams last year. It's not like they sat out a year. So with players able to make that fast transition to not sitting out, I think we're going to see even more of that. Guys want playing time. And if you're in a Power 5 school and not playing, you can maybe go down to the mid-majors and start, and look what these guys are doing. They're doing a very good job for South Alabama, their backcourt.
Oh, definitely. Definitely easier time for people to, get out of their situations, especially if they want more or are not happy. But another fun fact, and I'm going to go off topic, was I'm pretty sure that I saw that South Alabama's best player from last year transferred to Washington State. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Wow. And it just goes on all over.
Yeah, it was a point guard. So he transferred to Ghana. I think he was averaging like 20 points a game for them last year. And then he transferred out. So another fun.
I guess the big question is if he got to Pullman easily or if he struggled like a lot of us did to find your way to that small campus in the Pac-12. We talk about the transfers and the numbers of them. I didn't get to mention this yesterday with Illinois Chicago when I looked up and down their roster. They've got an assistant coach. And he's an assistant coach, but his responsibilities, he's in charge of NILs and branding. That's it. He's not an on-court assistant. And I think that's just a sign of the times with NIL, transfer portal, not having to sit out. College basketball is so much different than before. But then you look at Hawaii. Look what Hawaii's done as far as benefiting from that this year. Kamaka Hepa was on Texas's team last year. Jerome DeRosier wasn't on Princeton's team because they didn't play in the Ivy League last year. Juan Munoz did play for Longwood last year, had over 203. But the fact that you're getting these guys without sitting out is just a sign of the time, but it works both ways. You talked about the South Alabama player going to Pullman, but even players coming to Hawaii as well. So it does work both ways. I know fans aren't happy about losing players to transfers, but you get a lot of other players coming in, so it kind of evens out. And for South Alabama, they're benefiting from those two guards, and I expect big things from them today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we'll keep our eyes on them and the team for South Alabama. Again, the 1-point victory, and I know Josh mentioned it a few times yesterday during the broadcast, kind of controversial. And one of the reasons it was controversial, there's no replay cameras there. And I'm going to mention this again for you people listening right now. There is no television coverage of this game. There is no streaming coverage of this game. A little unusual in college basketball these days to have that, which means without TV cameras. And there was one camera at the arena. I think it was the Orleans in-arena camera or in-camera arena, whatever it was, that's it. But they weren't able to use that for replays. So again, if you want to listen to the game or view this game, the only way is here on ESPN Honolulu. And we'll be glad to bring you that coverage coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break, our final break before we send it over to Josh. And when we return, Derrick and I are going to give our H player of the game, the H factor, a Hawaii player who we think will be critical for today's victory. That is coming up ahead in just a minute. You are listening to the Rivals Waikiki pregame show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Reinvent your holidays into something all your own with a special fixed-rate holiday loan from Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union with rates as low as 1.99% APR for 12 months. Offer available for a limited time only. Visit hawaiiusafcu.com/holiday to learn more and apply. Loan details also available by calling 1-800-379-1300. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life matters. Insured by NCUA, an equal housing lender.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come and stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Meadow Gold Dairies Hawaii is honored to support University of Hawaii as their official milk partner, nourishing and fueling UH athletics with chocolate milk, white milk, orange juice, and POG. Meadow Gold is proud to provide families in Hawaii with the best dairy, juice, and ice cream products for over 124 years. As our University of Hawaii continues their quest to win and become champions, we celebrate their success. Go Bows!
In need of cash for home improvements, bill consolidation, tuition, or other expenses? Apply now for a cash-out refinance loan from Finance Factors. Mortgage rates are still low, so it's not too late to refinance your current loan to take cash out to finance other essentials. Finance Factors offers some of the lowest mortgage rates in Hawaii. Call 808-522-2000 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, equal housing lender, NMLS number 449916.
Some people think of public workers as statistics, numbers, positions that are unnecessary. But public workers include police dispatchers, lifeguards, principals, and other school workers like safety and security specialists and educational assistants, public health nurses, and thousands more real people who play important roles that every community needs. So those public workers, we shouldn't take them for granted. They provide essential services that benefit us all. A message from HGEA.
If you qualify for Medicaid and are looking for healthcare coverage, choose United Healthcare. We can help care for you and your ohana with member rewards, virtual workshops, telehealth, and an app to find a provider or see your ID card, and much more. Learn more by calling 1-888-980-8728, TTY 711. It's your choice. Choose United Healthcare.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe, we are in the home stretch of this portion of the Rivals Waikiki Pregame Show. In less than 10 minutes, we'll send it over to Josh Pacheco at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. He will give us the latest and the update about Bernardo da Silva and Noel Coleman. From what we heard earlier, doesn't look promising, more so for Noel. Even for Bernardo, looks like he is definitely out, but that's unofficial, and Josh will give us the official update with the starting lineup coming up in just a few minutes. I will talk to you guys at halftime again, go over some of the stats and key players in the first half. So, Derrick, we're going to do this now for every Rivals Waikiki pregame show. Talk about a University of Hawaii player. We'll call him the H factor, a key player for today's game. And I was looking up and down the roster, and I narrowed it down to two players, but I'm going to go with Junior Madutfort today. He's a player yesterday at 10 points, 3 rebounds. It seems like he's a player who can guard multiple positions. He can guard a 2 or 3. He's a very good defender, can give you some offense at times, but I think his versatility is really going to come in handy today. By the way, we are being informed right now that Bernardo and Coleman are both out for today's game. Who is your H player for today's game, H factor?
My H factor player of today's game is going to have to be, I'm going to go outside the box a little bit. I'm going to go with Amaro Lado. I hope I'm reading this correctly. I could be totally wrong, but, you know, with South Alabama's guard play, with the way that they pressure the perimeter, you know, force teams into a lot of turnovers and their frenetic pace of play, I think Hawaii is going to have to really rely on, you know, McClanahan, Madut, and as well as Lado to handle the ball a lot, right? So I'm going to try and think that he has to come in. He had a decent game last game, 17 minutes, pretty effective, right? But today he's going to have to, handle the ball, help with those ball handling duties. Help control tempo. So I'm going to go with him.
Good choice. I was even thinking about Jerome DeRosier because his ability to guard multiple positions and just give you such good play on both sides of the court, whether it's a rebounding numbers or steals or just scoring. And he did have 16 points yesterday. Also looking at the roster from yesterday, only 7 players really played. Noel Coleman played those 5 minutes, and that was it. So it was a pretty short bench. But Lotto, I think, is becoming more and more of a key factor. I do agree with you on that. We're going to take a break in just a second and send it over to Josh Pacheco at the Orleans Arena. He will give you the starting lineup and get you ready for the tip-off. And we'll see you at halftime here. Derrick and I will see you next Tuesday when Hawaii will play Santa Clara on the road. That'll be a 3 p.m. start for the Rivals Waikiki pregame show. So until halftime, I will talk to you then. And Josh Pacheco will be joining us coming up in just a minute with the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come in a stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
When we talk about reimagining healthcare at Hawaii Pacific Health, we're really talking about you. Because making it easier for you to be healthier is what it's all about. With video visits to see your doctor from anywhere. With virtual urgent care. With more clinics near where you live and work. And with a personalized approach that focuses on prevention. We're reimagining healthcare for you. Visit hawaiipacifichealth.org/telehealth.
In need of cash for home improvements, bill consolidation, tuition, or other expenses? Apply now for a cash-out refinance loan from Finance Factors. Mortgage rates are still low, so it's not too late to refinance your current loan to take cash out to finance other essentials. Finance Factors offers some of the lowest mortgage rates in Hawaii. Call 808-522-2000 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 449916.
What's your game plan for hurricane season? The team at First Insurance wants to help you come out on top with an exclusive policy you won't find anywhere else. First Track is an affordable policy for homeowners and renters that pays you quickly whenever a hurricane gets near you. The closer and bigger the storm, the higher the payout. It covers expenses like emergency supplies and groceries while offsetting the high deductibles of hurricane insurance. First Track, only from First Insurance. Visit ficoh.com/First Track to learn more.
At Dial Electric Supply, we're all about seeing the light. That means understanding that we need to pull together to put the COVID-19 pandemic behind us. Do your part in social distancing, wearing masks, and hand washing. Our sales counter and will call remains open, and our Dial Lighting Gallery showroom is now open by appointment only. Go online to www.dialelectricsupply.com, open on weekdays from 7 to 3 and Saturdays from 9 to 3, serving electricians, developers, utility companies, and businesses. See the light at Dial Electric Supply.
What's your game plan for hurricane season? The team at First Insurance wants to help you come out on top with an exclusive policy you won't find anywhere else. First Track is an affordable policy for homeowners and renters that pays you quickly whenever a hurricane gets near you. The closer and bigger the storm, the higher the payout. It covers expenses like emergency supplies and groceries while offsetting the high deductibles of hurricane insurance. First Track, only from First Insurance. Visit ficoh.com/First Track to learn more.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
And we take things over here at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. It is the final game of the Continental Tire Las Vegas Classic, and the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, as banged up as they are, they enter in with a record of 3-1. Hawaii will take on the South Alabama Jaguars, who come in at 4-2. A win over San Diego yesterday, while Hawaii was able to hold off Illinois Chicago. We welcome you just above courtside here at the Orleans Arena. You heard Gary mention it. I got word a few moments ago that Hawaii will once again be without Bernardo da Silva and will tonight be without Noel Coleman. De Silva has a hand injury, and he probably won't be back for a couple of weeks, which means he will likely also miss the Santa Clara game next Tuesday. And then the next question will be, could he be ready December 8th for HPU? If not that point, then it's very likely we could see De Silva for the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic December 22nd through the 25th. Now, as for Noel Coleman, Coleman suffered a hip injury. He did try to go yesterday, came off the bench, played 5 minutes, didn't score, and today it was ruled out well before tip. He was a game-time decision last night. It was ruled out pretty early today that Coleman will not go for Hawaii. So Hawaii's lineup will be pretty similar to yesterday. In fact, it is the same starting lineup as compared to yesterday, with the two guards being Jovan McClanahan at point, Junior Madut being the number 2, and then your front court of Mate Cholina, Kamaka Hepa, and Jerome DeRosier. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by the Hawaii Pacific Health Bone and Joint Centers. Hawaii Pacific Health, creating a healthier Hawaii. Of course, Hawaii is already without Samuta Avea and Juan Munoz with season-ending injuries. No injuries that we know of for South Alabama. Our key factors this afternoon are brought to you by Finance Factors, savings, CDs, and mortgages. Learn more at financefactors.com. For Hawaii, one of the things that they talked about earlier this week was creating tempo really at the beginning of an offensive set. And you saw it done pretty well last time out against Illinois Chicago, being diligent on the first pass and making something happen early. You saw a lot of post-to-post stuff offensively, and Hawaii has to continue that. Meantime, defensively for the Rainbow Warriors, they're going to go up against two very good scorers for South Alabama. That's Charles Manning Jr. and J.J. Chandler, who both averaged 16 and 15 points respectively, and both scored 21 a day ago against the University of San Diego. Those are two guys you cannot let go, because yesterday Hawaii got itself out to an early lead. They didn't allow Illinois Chicago's best scorer to get going until late going into the second half. And at that point, Illinois Chicago didn't have a lot of help outside of that, dealt with foul trouble, and that was an early key for Hawaii, keeping their best scorer silent, at least for a good first 15 minutes of the game. But if they can keep Manning and Chandler silent, Hawaii could fare pretty well against South Alabama. This is a Jaguars team who at 4-2 coming out of the Sun Belt Conference is battle-tested. They have played Wichita State, they have played Alabama, and lost to both of those teams by single digits, by 6 at Wichita State, and then at Tuscaloosa losing 73-68 against the Crimson Tide. Hawaii taking the floor. They are shooting to the goal to our right. We'll see South Alabama coming up on the floor momentarily. I think one other key factor for Hawaii, can you get big minutes from Amor Lotto again? Lotto scored 8 points in 17 minutes off the bench, and he was needed off the bench, part and parcel because of foul trouble to Junior Madut. He may be called upon, so will be on Riley likely with the injuries to Coleman and De Silva. We'll see how much minutes they can give in a positive fashion for Hawaii. This is the final game for Hawaii in Las Vegas, but it's not the final game of the road trip. The Rainbow Warriors will head to Santa Clara on Tuesday, and maybe one of the more interesting stories out of the West Coast Conference is Santa Clara. They've looked good out of the WCC along with teams like St. Mary's and Gonzaga. So for Hawaii, one of the key factors today, finish this classic strong and create that positive momentum going into your final non-conference road game against Santa Clara next Tuesday. We'll come back with the starting lineups and tip in just a moment from Las Vegas. It is Hawaii and South Alabama. It's the final game of the Continental Tire Las Vegas Classic. And you've been listening to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
This has been the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come and stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Battery Bill. Battery Bill. Be prepared for any emergency with a portable solar generator from Battery Bill. Having a solar generator will provide backup power when you need it most. And peace of mind. Choose from top brands like Jackery and Goal Zero. Learn more at batterybill.com.
Hi, I'm Battery Bill. The sun is the center of our solar system. Battery Bills is your center for solar generators. When you need emergency power, when you need portable power, it's Battery Bill. Battery Bill.
Well, what you doing?